Okay, so we are here talking about our lovely trip to Procida.
Yes, and it was lovely. It was a great week. We had so much fun. We had some great experiences.
We did.
Met some amazing people.
It was a life-changing experience.
It really was. That's not an under-exaggeration.
No. Before we chat about it, should we introduce ourselves? My name is Bella Collins. I am a singer, guitarist from Cardiff, working musician, and I've been working with Community Music Wales for the last couple of years, running rock schools, and generally loving the CMW way of life.
So I am Laurence Wickham, and I did my community music leader workshop with CMW the best part of 15, 16 years ago now. And then I worked as a practitioner for the company for a few years before moving to London, and I spent sort of 7-8 years away from Wales, so I didn't do any workshops with them during that. I've recently moved back to Wales just over a year ago and been in touch with the guys at CMW, and I'm back doing workshops with them and really enjoying it. I'm a percussionist and drummer, so doing a lot of sort of African drumming workshops and doing the rock schools with Bella. Yeah, really enjoying being back on the music scene. So let's get into the project, which is really cool, and very pleased to be asked to be a part of it.
Yeah, it was a real honour to be a part of it, wasn't it?
Yeah, as a musician, you kind of don't really often get experiences like that or get the chance to work abroad very often. So it was really nice to do it and have that experience.
Yeah, we were saying this when we were away about people working abroad. We've never had the chance, unless it's, I suppose, tours and stuff. Actually working abroad in this way doesn't come around very often for us.
No. So it was really pleased to be a part of it, and it was really great to work with Dan and Chris on it as well.
Yeah, we're going to talk about getting there first of all.
Yeah, so I was eagerly waiting at the airport for the guys because they were a bit late.
Were we a bit late?
Getting anxious, but yeah, the flight was really good, and then we had one evening in Naples to enjoy before we caught the ferry over to the island.
Okay, so we go over to the island, arrive on the Sunday night. And no work on the Sunday night. It was just meeting people, wasn't it? Yeah,
so we got to the island and pretty much met up with Gianpaolo and Claudio. Mm-hmm. Claudio gave us a lift to our accommodation, which was an eventful car ride in itself.
Yeah.
The roads are very small.
Yeah, so Claudio and Gianpaolo are the Italian tutors, leaders, and they were more or less our main hosts, weren't they? Our hosts, people to go to with any issues, and the organisers telling us where we had to be and what we were doing. And also Antonio as well, wasn't it? Yeah, so we met Antonio at I want to call it a restaurant. It was more just an apartment where we ate food. It was a balcony.
It was a balcony of where the guys were staying. And that's where we met Antonio for the first time. He was also one of the organisers and all-round sound guy.
No work Sunday night, but I think we were all eager to get cracking. Very tired from travelling, but eager to get cracking on the Monday morning. Yeah, and we met people, but it wasn't a get-to-know-you session, so it was kind of everyone stuck to their little groups. No one really merged that night. So then we all went back and had a good night rest, ready for the big day. Yeah. The first day of the actual project. We spent our day split between two locations. So in the morning we would start at the church, wouldn't we? Mm-hmm. Which was close to the accommodation. First morning of work completely was like getting to know each other, so really important icebreaker time. We started off by kind of introducing ourselves with a reason for being grateful for being there, introduction. Yeah, main circle went round and everyone introduced themselves and said why they're there, what they do with community music. And there was a real mix, wasn't there? Because it was like some people worked in similar projects to us. There was one lady, Milka. I think she was focused on like children's entertainment. Yeah, that's kind of stuff. There were some music professors. Yeah. From Georgia. So a real mixed bag. Real mixed bag. So mornings consisted of icebreakers. Warm-up games, shaking our body, doing some clapping rhythms. Yeah. Did this sort of passing the energy around the room. We didn't do like vocal warm-ups on the first day, but lots of sort of just doing stuff with our voice, like beep, boop, beep, stuff like that. How did it go? Boop, 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 beep, beep. Yeah, just getting comfortable, I suppose. Yeah, around each other making noises. And it's quite cool when you've got 20 people doing noises, and it actually sounds really cool. Free time wasn't really a thing, was it?
You had to grab what you could.
Yeah, and we were on Italian time most of the time, so it was okay. It worked out fine. Then the afternoon was our first seeing of the church.
Yeah, which was actually quite a spectacle in itself, because it's up this steep hill. When you get to the top, you can see the whole of Procida, and it was pretty amazing place.
I think everyone was kind of glad to get to the top when we got there.
Exactly.
But yeah, amazing space.
Very lively.
Very lively, but we got in there and sort of instruments were set up and very quickly realised it wasn't a great room for live music.
Especially with drums.
On that first day up in the church, I think we're just getting familiar with our surroundings and learning our first song. Writing and learning our first song.
Yeah. So that afternoon we did one full song, which kind of became the main song of the whole concert, I guess.
Were you playing drums that day?
I was not. I didn't play drums until maybe the fourth day. They'd understandably got in a drummer from the island, which was great to work with them actually, and it was nice to work with someone from the island. And I kind of get why they did it, because if you didn't have a good drummer in the group, then you've got no sort of backbones.
With that song, the singers were ushered outside and we came up with some lyrics which were about the island, basically, and about our experience of the island. So the lyrics were talking about sort of our experience on the island and the fact that we weren't from the island, but we felt like we belonged on the island. And later in the week, they were added to by members of the community as well, so that was really interesting.
It was a bit of a theme of the whole concert, really, was how beautiful the island was, and how even though we weren't from the island, we felt a connection there. Mm-hmm. And because we were working with people from the island, it's like a big happy family.
So yeah, day 2 was definitely getting to know each other even better morning. And that was the first morning we spent with our vocal coach, Livia. Livia was introduced to us and we started with some singing games, which was exercises.
Actually, they were really fun.
Really great.
We did a few sessions with her, but she'd often split the group into 3 or 4, and we'd do rounds or sing different sections, and then she would sort of conduct us to go louder or drop out. And some of the things we came out with sounded really cool.
It sounded so rehearsed, didn't it? Some of it sounded like we knew what we were doing, and it was so improvised. And obviously she was leading us like Jacob Collier, honestly.
Yeah. It was one of my favourite things about the whole project, was doing those vocal sessions.
I think that really brought people out their shells as well, because sometimes it takes a while, from my experience with workshops, to get people out of their shell to sing out. Sometimes takes a while to build the relationship where they're comfortable in a group to sing out. And everyone seemed pretty comfortable, I'd say.
Yeah, and again,
confident.
You've got, I'm not sure the exact number, but 15 to 20 people who were all there on a music basis. So you got a lot of good singers, and even the people who weren't comfortable singing gave it a go.
That was morning 2. So afternoon of day 2, after having our lunch in the middle of the island, we were back up to the church, and this was the day that children from the community came to work with us.
Yes. Again, it wasn't really specified as to what groups would be with us in the afternoons.
No.
So sometimes it was a bit of a surprise when all of a sudden you've got 10 or so children running around, and because it was such a lively room and the children weren't being quiet when they were asked to, which is fair enough, the children.
Yeah, so I think that was probably something to reflect on in terms of the communication between leaders and the rest of us as tutors. We didn't know what was in store each afternoon, did we, really?
No.
But yeah, this was a bit of a shock to the system that afternoon, because kids were literally running around whilst we were trying to engage with activities.
No, so definitely people were engaging, and I was, trying to get the kids on the drums and trying to get them jamming along with the songs. But I didn't think anyone knew to what degree we'd have to look after children. It was almost like we were childcare.
And then that was a point discussed later in the week that, culturally we have to respect that some people do kind of expect the community you're in, everyone to have a hand in looking after the kids, which is great, which is fine, but I think we needed more of a heads up before the session started.
It seemed to have took its toll on some of the group.
Yeah, it got a bit chaotic.
It did.
Didn't it? Yeah, so that was day 2. Day 3 on the island. We started off the day...
Day 3 on the island.
Day 3. No.
Terrible accents, both of us.
Day 3. It's not a northern accent, is it? Big brother.
Yeah, so
day 3 on the island, we kicked off the day again with more exercises with Olivia.
Yeah, which again loved it. Very therapeutic, very inspiring when it all comes together and sounds great.
Yeah, and actually, yeah, it was good. It was complex stuff that we were pulling off.
It was. There was like, we learned a phrase that was like, it was like 16 bars or something.
Yeah.
Or was it 8 bars? Am I being exaggerated?
I don't think you were exaggerating.
But the way she broke it down, and we learnt it sort of piece by piece, it was amazing how quickly everyone learnt it.
Yeah, and super rewarding. I mean, all of us already kind of musicians.
Yeah, and a lot of the lyrics weren't even in English.
Yeah, and we
just learning...
didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was really cool.
And some of these, in the video that I've made, there are examples of some of these. So just, if you want to have a listen, just check that video out.
Moving on.
So we spent the afternoon back at the other church, as we've described already, and this time we were put into 6 groups, and we were working with communities from the island that were from different places.
Yeah, that's right. So we were all kind of assigned a different member of the community, weren't we?
Yeah.
In our 6 groups that I think were established from another exercise we'd done in one of the workshops. So
yeah,
we're working with people we knew already from our group, which probably helped because that comfortability among each other then I think allows us to put a warmer arm around the members of the community coming in.
Yeah. And guide them, because we had to come up with the songs on the spot and have their input as well.
Yeah, so we literally wrote a song each, didn't we? I can't remember, was there any guidance or rules as to what we needed to include?
No instruments, just body and vocal, and it had to be a minute.
Oh, right, yeah, you're right. And I know certainly in my group, we decided to lead with our community member. So we had a lovely lady named Frederica, and we decided to use an African word. We asked her a few different questions. She was quite shy initially, and eventually we managed to find out what the word was for saying thank you in her language, which was...
Yameke.
Yameke.
Yeah.
Yameke. So that became our sort of starting point for the song.
And that word became quite a predominant word in the show again.
Yeah. That song became quite a big part of it, didn't it?
Yes.
For my group, we kind of made things interesting by using different time signatures. So considering we're working with a non-musician, it was quite a big feat. Yeah, different vocalists came forward in the group, different rhythms. What about you?
So our group, we kind of kept it very simple, and we did a bit of body percussion and just a really simple melody over the top. And then we went round and took it in turns to do a little improvisation. But you could instantly tell that the members of the group, the community, were just not comfortable with singing or doing anything vocally. So we kind of just said, do anything you want. It can be a dance, it can be, making sounds with your mouth or just hitting your body parts to make a different rhythm. And that's when they loosened up a bit. And I think 1 or 2 of them just did a dance whilst the rest of us carried on doing the melody.
Who were your community members?
So
youngsters or...
No, we had the drummer from the island, and then we had 2 women from Africa, and one with a very small baby on her back.
Yes, I remember. Yeah, and it's hard. That is really hard trying to, when you've got not only a language barrier but a real cultural barrier. It's hard breaking those barriers down.
Yeah, and it's interesting because although the language barrier makes it so hard, the best way to communicate in that situation is through music.
Completely. I was just going to say, it's amazing how quickly music can break those barriers down. And like you said, if they weren't comfortable initially with singing, then you say, right, try this instead. And yeah, okay, they get into it more.
Yeah. And then that song that our group did actually became the song that I played drums for.
Oh, yeah.
Which was me and Bella's our jam.
Our jam, yeah, on the big day, the big concert day.
Yeah. So then all 6 groups performed in front of each other then, and then that brought us to the close of that afternoon.
Yeah, I think that was the day we had, I know, certainly myself and Livia stepped in trying to control the kids. So the performances were happening of these songs within the church.
Yeah, and I remember this now.
Yeah, the kids were kind of running riot. So we didn't think twice, I think initially. We just ran to try and occupy the kids, which led to me having a lovely little girl joining me on stage.
Trying to steal your glasses.
Yeah, trying to steal my glasses. And I eventually
eventually, luckily, managed to give her my sunglasses and she was satisfied for the whole performance.
Yeah.
And yes, that was a real moment.
Could really see the struggle there. You're like trying to perform and constantly like swatting these hands away from your face.
My glasses, man.
My really expensive glasses.
Yeah, if they were like cheap ones, she could have had them.